My friends, I'm going to keep it short today due to the fact that I've got guests at the rental apartment and more guests coming for the larger rental retreat today. All of them have instruments. In fact, I've got 2 instruments in the shop already. I'll show you some of that here in just a moment. Hello my friends, Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa String Works Workshop. It is Tuesday, November 1st. And of course on every Tuesday we'll be playing at Dickey's Barbecue Pit in Rolla, Missouri starting from 6 to 8:30. Come join us if you can. We would love to have you there. One of the instruments that I've got in the shop right now is this Martin D28, and I've already done a complete setup on this. So what I did to this in 1 hour and 10 minutes, believe it or not, I did all these things. I think I actually have them written down on this card so I can remember them. I leveled and recrowned all the frets. I used the 800 grit sandpaper to kind of polish them back up. I leveled in between all the frets because there was considerable finger grooves. I oiled the fretboard. I also rounded off the ends of all the frets because they were protruding quite a bit, and I sanded all that smooth. I also put more pressure on the ends of this fretboard to get rid of some of the, what people call relief. I call underbow because it's too much, and this is a non-adjustable truss rod, so I filed through a lot of that relief by taking it off of both ends. There were some major fingernail grooves in this that I scraped out also with the single edge razor blade. I beveled all the bridge pins back here. I recut the saddle. This was a bone saddle already, so I did not replace it with antler. Bone is just about the same. There's very, very little difference. But it wasn't intonated very well at all. The B was sharp, the E and the A were very sharp, and you can only do so much in the width of a thin saddle, so I put them as far back as I could, and instead of being 10 to 12 cents sharp now, they're about 4 cents sharp. So that's a pretty big improvement for not changing the whole dynamic of the instrument back here. I also cleaned and polished this whole instrument on the back and the top especially, and waxed it with Renaissance wax. I especially buffed out this area. There was blue jean marks, or I shouldn't say blue jean. I don't know that it was blue jeans, but you could see fabric marks in this area of the guitar from probably playing it on a humid day, sweating through and kind of melting the finish, but I buffed most all of that out. You can barely even tell anything happened there now. There was another mark up here where the arm had rested for quite a while, and it was pretty scuffed, and the finish had melted kind of there too, so I buffed all that out and then waxed it with Renaissance wax. So I really did a lot of work in 1 hour and 10 minutes on this guitar. So here's what it sounds like. It's a really good sounding guitar. Very good, very good. He also brought me a Taylor guitar. Let me show you that. So here's a look at the Taylor guitar. It's got a redwood top. It's a nice looking guitar. I'm sure it's going to have a good sound. The first words I said to the fellow when I strummed this one was, it sounds kind of muted. And I would say there's 2 reasons for that. This is a composite saddle, but it's sitting on one of those under saddle pickups. And those are just like throwing a blanket over your guitar, in my opinion. At least acoustically. Now I realize that when you plug them in, they're going to sound much better. But why not have it sound real good acoustically and sound real good electrically? There's no reason it can't sound good both ways. And right now it only sounds good electrically, in my opinion. Because it's really hard to make a redwood top sound bad, but those under saddle pickups can accomplish that. So I've talked him into, I believe, changing this out for an LR bag setup. Now I'm not doing that here in the shop because I don't have those in stock, but I believe he's going to do that. So I think we're going to remove this under saddle pickup, put in a deer antler saddle, which will wake this thing up. I don't think he's ever going to hear it sound any better after we're done with it. But it does need a lot of other little things too. The action's pretty high. It's even high down here, so we're going to do a complete full meal deal setup on this one as well. Now, I did say I was going to keep this short. I've already pre-filmed this next segment, and this is on the artifact that I dug underneath the porch step up there at the old house. Now, keep in mind that concrete was poured in 1909, and I was getting a coin signal there, so I wanted to see what was under there, and I tunneled under there, and I found the culprit. Well, my friends, it's all over but the crying. I found it. I'll show you what I found at my desk. Before I show you the metal object, let me show you a couple of interesting things that I found under that slab. Now keep in mind, these things have to be at least 1909 age-wise, and I would say they were considerably older than that. First of all, I found this really thick piece of glass. It's off of a jar, very thick. My guess is it was some sort of a maybe a large milk type jar or something like that. I really don't know. It could have been almost anything. It doesn't have threads, so it's before they put threads on jars. This lip here is some sort of a sealing mechanism, maybe one of those wire clasps that they would have used on there with the rubber gasket or something. So anyway, that's just an artifact. Then I found this. Now this one really throws me, and it still throws me. I thought it was just a rock for a moment, and then I get to looking at it closer, and it's not a rock. I just don't know what it is. This grayish stuff you see on here is the actual wet cement that stuck to it. It was right up against the cement. But it's a glass of some sort, or like a ceramic glass or something. And it's got this white metal, or this white perhaps ceramic on the inside of it. Out in the sun, you can just see how this is a glass shattering and stuff that's out in it. I really don't know what this is, but I suspect it was some sort of a large piece of crockware or something like that. It was probably beautiful in its day, but that's all that's left of it now. Okay, so enough beating around the bush. So what did I actually find for that coin signal? Well, I have to be honest with you, it's a little disappointing, but as I told you, it's a 50-50 proposition around here. You can have the best coin signal in the world and still not dig a coin. And of course, that's what happened. It's another boot heel. It's like a boot heel tap or whatever you call those things, where it's a metal boot heel basically. So you either screw it on or nail it on to the heel of your boot, and that keeps it from wearing out. So that's what it is. Unfortunate, and I think it is brass because it's not magnetic, but then it was right up against that concrete, so it's got some, that concrete, when concrete is wet, especially when you're pouring it, all that moisture of the liquid and the concrete soaks down, and it's kind of soaked this thing over, and, over the years, and it's just corroded into it, I guess. But I believe it's a brass because it is not magnetic. Sad but true, that's what it was. I wished it would have been different. That's going to be about it today. I've got to keep it as short as possible. If you can make it to Dickey's this evening, please do. We would love to see you there, 6 to 8:30. We'll see you tomorrow.